The mystics live in the timeless. They don't leave any marks in time. They don't leave any signatures on time. They don't believe in signing on the sand of time. They know it will be effaced. So there is no point in it. Kabir has not said much about himself. Nothing much is known about him. Not even this much is known whether he was a Hindu or a Mohammedan. The story goes that he was born a Mohammedan but was brought up by a Hindu. And this is beautiful. This is how it should be. Hence his richness. He has the heritage of two rich traditions, Hindu and Mohammedan. If you are just a Hindu, of course you are poor. If you are just a Mohammedan, you are poor. Look at my richness. I am a Hindu and a Mohammedan and a Christian and a Sikh and a Parsi. Not only that, I am theist and I am atheist too. I claim the whole heritage of humanity. I claim all. I don't reject anything. From Charvakas to Buddhas, I claim all. The whole humanity is yours. The whole evolution of human consciousness is yours. But you are so miserly. Somebody has become a Hindu, he claims only a corner. And lives in that corner, crippled and paralyzed. In fact, the corner is so narrow you cannot move. It is not spacious enough. A religious person will claim all: Buddha, Mahavir, Christ, Zarathustra, Lao Tzu, Nanak, Kabir, etc., etc. He will claim all. They are all part of me, they are all part of you. Whatsoever has happened to human consciousness, you carry the seeds of it in you. This is the one thing to be understood about Kabir, that he was born as a Mohammedan and brought up by a Hindu. And it never became conclusive to whom he had really belonged. Even by the time when he was dying, it was a dispute among his disciples. The Hindus were claiming his body. The Mohammedans were claiming his body. And a beautiful parable. Kabir has left a message that when I am dead, he knew it is going to happen. People are foolish. They will claim the body and there is going to be conflict. So he had left a message. If there is any conflict, just cover my body with a sheet and wait. And the decision will come. And the story says that the body was covered and Hindus started praying and the Mohammedans started praying, and then the cover was removed and Kabir has disappeared. Only few flowers were there. Those flowers were divided. Even disciples are stupid. This parable is beautiful. I call it a parable. I don't say it really happened. But it shows something. A man like Kabir has already disappeared. He is not in his body. He is in his inner flowering. His Sahasrar, his 1,000 petal, the lotus has flowers. You are in the body only to a certain extent. The body has a certain function to fulfill. The function is that of consciousness flowering. Once the consciousness has flowered, the body is non-existential. It does not matter whether it exists or not. It is simply irrelevant. The parable is beautiful. When they removed the cover, there were only few flowers left. Kabir is a flowering. Only few flowers. And the stupid disciples even then won't understand. They divided the flowers. Remember one thing. All ideologies are dangerous. They divide people. You become a Hindu, you become a Mohammedan, you become a Jaina, a Christian. You are divided. All ideologies create conflict. All ideologies are violent. A real man of understanding has no ideology. Then he is undivided. Then he is one with the whole humanity. Not only that, he is one with the whole existence. A real man of understanding is a flowering. This flowering we will be discussing. These songs of Kabir are tremendously beautiful. He is a poet. He is not a philosopher. He has not created a system. He is not a theoretician, nor a theologian. He is not invested into doctrines, into scriptures. His whole interest is in how to flower and become a god. His whole effort is how to make you more loving, more alert. It is not a question of learning much. On the contrary, it is a question of unlearning much. In that way, he is very rare. Buddha, Mahavir, Krishna, Ram, they are very special people. They were all kings. And they were well educated, well cultured. Kabir is a nobody, a man of the masses, very poor, very ordinary, with no education at all, with no culture. And that is his rarity. Why I call it his rarity? Because to be ordinary in the world is the most extraordinary thing. He was very ordinary and he remained ordinary. The natural desire of the human mind is to become special. To become special either in the ways of the world, to have many degrees, to have much political power, to have money, wealth, to be special. The mind is always ready to go on some ego trip. And if you are fed up with the world, then again the ego starts finding new ways and new means to enhance itself. It becomes spiritual. You become a great Mahatma, a great sage, a great scholar, a man of knowledge, a man of renunciation. Again, you are special. Unless the desire to be special disappears, you will never be special. Unless you relax into your ordinariness, you will never relax.